All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Kobe Kushner. I'm an analyst here at Red Cloud Securities. Thank you to the ETMX Group for sponsoring this session. We're about to hear from Scott Taylor of Foremost Lithium Resource and Technology. Per its name, it's a lithium company. It's got 3 prospective projects in the Snow Lake area of Manitoba and another one in the territories. Scott, you have about 15 minutes, which will follow with the 5 minutes of Q&A. Viewers, ask your questions at any time.
Thank you very much, Cody. Appreciate the chance to have a chance to present here this morning. Thank you for everybody who has joined us in attendance. So Foremost is a green technology company, and we're focused to build one of the first North American companies to both ethically and sustainably produce battery-grade lithium hydroxide from our Snow Lake lithium projects. Our main focus this year is to form strategic partnerships with lithium-ion battery manufacturers to help enter the supply chain and fuel the ever-growing electric vehicle market. So just some basic highlights. We're strategically located next to majority of the North American electric vehicle and battery manufacturers. We've got good existing infrastructure in the Snow Lake area. It's a historical gold mining district up in the northwestern part of Manitoba, Canada. We've got access by rail and sea. So we're only 35 kilometers away from the Hudson's Bay Railway. Our total land position is 10,633 hectares in the Snow Lake district of Manitoba. And we're overlapping directly with the NASDAQ listed Snow Lake Lithium's land position. To date, we've invested over 5 million Canadian on the Zoro property. So that's one of the 3 projects. And we've discovered and delineated 13 drill intercepted lithium bearing spodumene rich pegmatite dikes. So obviously we're a hard rock lithium exploration company. The maiden inferred resource, this is going back to 2018. That's the last time that 43101 was done on this project. Got 1.1 million tons at 0.91% lithium oxide. And that's from one of the 13 dikes, and it's back from 2018 a priori to a second phase of drill program. So right now, we're mobilizing. We should be spudding over the weekend on Zoro, and we're going to be testing 10 new high quality targets that we've identified with MMI technology. We just finished running airborne magnetics on our John Lake property. We're scheduled to execute and provide full coverage over both Zoro and Grass River, so those are the other 2 projects, starting at the end of the month. We've been permitted to do some pre-production metallurgical bulk testing. So we'll commence that as soon as the snowpack melts and we're able to extract that ore. So obviously, from a macro standpoint, lithium's quite a hot commodity right now. It looks very good for the for the next decade. So lithium hydroxide obviously is a strategic battery mineral. It's mainly consumed in the production of cathode materials for lithium-ion batteries. And that's what goes into powering the use of consumer electronics, helps support the electrification of the transportation sector, and helps provide stationary grid storage for wind and solar power. So that little X there up in the north center part of that figure on the right-hand side is approximately where we're located. Then we've just got here, you can see all the different investments that have already been put into place of where you've got North American battery manufacturing that's either been invested or it's about to come online over the next 5 years. So really we're trying to concentrate and address 3 main pain points. Number 1 is there's a renewed focus to have North American stability and supply from lithium feedstock. The second thing is from an ESG standpoint, our location is directly traversed by hydroelectric power. So if we are able to get into production, it obviates the necessity of having heavy diesel generation operations. And we can provide a sustainable, ethical, and compliant supply of lithium. And then thirdly is a low transportation cost. So this is not getting shipped from overseas. Obviously, I think most of the people here who are probably attending are aware that we've gone through a bit of a super cycle here, post-COVID, with people going back to work. All the three main derivative products that go into the battery metals, starting with spodumene concentrate, lithium carbonate, and lithium hydroxide, have all accreted quite a bit of value over the last 12-month period. So, just to reinforce, we're an exploration stage public company. We're listed on the CSE under FAT. We just recently cleaned up the company and uplisted to the OTCQB. So we're RRSF there. And then we've got a listing over on the bourse in Frankfurt. The company's three principal assets are 100% interests in hard rock, lithium-rich properties, which are Zoro, John Lake, Grass River. They're all located in the Snow Lake District of Manitoba, Canada. We also own a 60% interest with Patriot Battery Minerals on a hard rock lithium rich project in the Hidden Lake area in the Northwest Territories. And we also have an exploration stage gold silver project that's just west of Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, in the town of Grafton. So that's me. I'm Scott. I'm the president and the CEO. Before I started this, I was running an oil field services company for the past decade in Houston, Texas. So I'm really familiar with operations, understanding how to get drill rigs and contractors put into place. I also took over that services company as a result of building a geophysical technology company. So I'm equally comfortable with more of the technical details. Dr. Mark Fedikau, our PGO, is the VP of Exploration. He's got over 40 years of experience as an exploration geologist. He's got a background in geochemistry. He's been with the property up in Manitoba since inception. And he's got over 4 decades of direct experience chasing spodumene-rich pegmatites up there in that Flin Flon area that situated up in where we have our Snow Lake assets. Pierre-Yves Ten used to work at the Canadian United Nations, worked over as a trade counselor over in Beijing for a decade. He's previously worked with other mining companies to help structure pre-production offtake agreements. So that's his participation in the company. And then Andrew Lyons, he's an ex-executive from TELUS, and he's our CFO and the other board member. Here's a map here showing our aggregate land position in the Snow Lake District of Manitoba. So you can see going from left to right, our John Lake property, which directly abuts Snow Lake Lithium, Zoro, which is again overlapping with Snow Lake, and then the recently acquired Grass River property over to the west. So the key milestones for everyone on the phone to track us for the first and second quarter operationally is first the execution of our drill program on Zoro. That's commencing the first of the 10 new targets on March the 6th. It's been contracted, it's been paid for, the equipment's being mobilized right now, and we'll be hitting 10 new potential spodumene-rich dikes with 1,500 meters of core. That should take about 3 to 4 weeks to go and hit those initial targets. Our assay work has been contracted and prepaid with Activation Laboratories. The second piece is to complete the airborne magnetics geophysics coverage. So that's been prepaid and contracted with EarthX. We just released the results from our John Lake survey yesterday. Results look quite encouraging. We've delineated multiple new drill targets, and they've corroborated some initial assaying that we've done. Zoro and Grass River, so that's just over a 4,000 line kilometer that will be scheduled to execute once they release that crew from Snow Lake Lithium. And that should happen around late March and run through the month of April. So that will be on track for us to have an interpretation there in the early part of June. The third vector there, which I think is probably the most important for us, is to complete successfully the initial metallurgical testing. So that's been permitted to produce an initial 500 kilos of battery-grade lithium hydroxide from that Zoro Dike 1, so one we have our maiden resource on. And then fourthly, once we've gone through and executed all of those work products, we're going to go through and complete another interim capital raise of approximately 3.5 million Canadian. So that's basically just an overview here. I'm not going to talk through this slide, but for those there, it's available on our portal, kind of give you a sense. So it is, Zoro is the most advanced of the 3 assets. We've got a significant amount of work on John Lake and Grass River. So that presents a huge amount of opportunity for us to uncover, more resource, but obviously we've got a lot of work to do to get, get those up into 43-101 compliant resource. So here's an image on the left-hand side of one of the interpretive techniques that we use. So this is mobile metal irons from SGS, and it's basically a heat map showing anomalous concentrations of lithium that you see at the surface. And so that's, the hotter the color, the more lithium that you can see at the surface. We have, as I said, historically, we've drilled 58 holes. We're going to be drilling at least another 10 this month, and we'll be testing 10 new targets. We've only applied mobile metal irons on about a third of the property so far, and we have not yet run the airborne magnetics. So we still got a significant amount of opportunity to go out and explore more and try to uncover more potential targets to build resource there. I'll also note that the Manitoba Mineral Development Fund was kind enough to provide us with a $300,000 grant, which has helped to support this current drill program. This is looking at one dike in particular that was initially delineated back in 2018. It has yet to be infill drilled. And so you can see that dike 8 intercepted, dike 8 and dike 3 both intercepted spodumene-rich pegmatite dikes with nice lithium mineralization in them. They're open in all directions, and we have not drilled this structure yet sufficiently to generate any resource. And so this is the most immediate, most logical, lowest risk opportunity for us to do some infill drilling and build some more resources. And really the thesis or the question that one has to ask themselves, from that drill program is, do dike 3 and do dike 8 eventually start to connect into one structure there towards the south? If we go back to this heat map, that's probably that's exactly what we're looking at there. So there's obviously some supporting data to that thesis. This is the second of the 3 properties. John Lake, again, 100% owns, just over 1,000 hectares. To date, we've done just a very limited amount of work. We've got 2 assays from 2 exposed outcropped beryl pegmatites that had nice lithium oxide shows, and you can see that in orange and red there, the sample points on the figure. And then superimposed over top of that is the result that we released yesterday from the EarthX airborne magnetics. You can see that we've got some nice structural features that are directly abutted and connected into Snow Lake Lithium that directly connects with their Grass River and Sherritt-Gordon dikes. And so, there's a lot of work left to do, but some very interesting results to date. The anomalies that we see down towards the southwestern part, we've sampled up to 20 grams per ton of gold, and that directly abuts 1911 gold. That's a super zoom here of the previous slide here, just to show the connectivity of that structural trend. So it looks like there's a lithium lane of those sort of a pegmatite field that is nicely connected between Snow Lake Lithium, Sherritt-Gordon, and Grass River pegmatites, and our beryl pegmatites there that we've uncovered to date. The Grass River is a newly restaked 27 claim package that we picked up in the middle part of January, just over 6,000 hectares. No modern exploration since 1959. What you can see there of importance or significance, each of those yellow diamond drill holes that have been indicated there, those are 7 historically drill intercepted spodumene pegmatite shows that had lithium inside of them, lithium mineralization above 1%. So those are obviously immediate targets, and then we've got to apply our other exploration techniques. So really for the rest of the year, what we're going to try and do is build enterprise value, keep increasing our land position in the Snow Lake District, cover our 100% of our projects with geophysics and geochemistry, update our resource estimates into a new 43-101. Our target in the next year is to build an inferred and indicated resource in excess of 10 million tons at 1% or greater lithium oxide. We're going to try and transpose the retail shareholder base that we have right now into more strategic long-term institutional investors, explore mutually beneficial joint venture opportunities with our neighbors, and then leverage our metallurgical testing and explore offtake agreements with the battery manufacturers. The drilling season is limited by the weather. And so really the majority of the work for the rest of the year will be building a de-risk pipeline in excess of 20,000 meters of drill targets that we can go back and commence during the winter drill program. We'll be looking for an interim financing of about $3.5 million to cover the balance of the work getting into the winter season. That's going to be primarily focused at as much metallurgical testing as we can do. Mobile metal irons coverage, 100% on all 3 properties, completing the geophysics, completing an updated 43101 report, and then secure our drilling contractor. So this is quite a hot area. So we want to be able to make sure that we've got all 3 of our drilling contractor that's discreetly contracted for each of the projects for the winter drill season. We're also going to look at some additional land acquisitions and possibly do some summer drilling on the Winston Gold Silver project. So I think I have hit my 15 minutes. So I'm going to stop and open it up for questions there, Cody.
Great. Thanks, Scott, for the presentation. And as you said, we'll now start with the Q&A portion of this session. So, you went through some of your upcoming catalysts. Which ones are you most excited about? And, which ones do you think are really going to re-rate the stock?
Yeah, so the first one that will be coming down the pipeline is obviously the drill results. Historically, using the same exploration workflow, we've had approximately a 40% success rate of hitting new lithium mineralized spodumene pegmatite dikes. So we've got the opportunity to pick up some more high quality targets. So obviously when you're drilling, it's quite nerve wracking, but also very exciting at the same time. So that'll be the first vector. And then the second one, which I personally feel is more important, is to excavate and do metallurgical testing with XPS as soon as the snowpack melts, and run it through that flow sheet there at a pilot plant and prove that we can generate battery grade lithium hydroxide, because obviously that gives me the data to go and have some really serious conversations with the multiplicity of the battery manufacturers here, both in North America and overseas. And it obviously would open up conversations with other strategic investors that are actually looking to secure long-term supplies of lithium hydroxide.
For sure. And with hydroxide, I guess why hydroxide as opposed to carbonate? Why are you aiming to produce that?
It's the preferred feedstock to go into an electric vehicle battery. And it's commands a slightly higher value in terms of its commoditized spot price right now. And from the metallurgical testing that we've done to date, we seem to be very low barriers for us to be able to generate that output. And so those 3 sort of data points came together to focus our decision to sort of align on that initial target there.
Right. And you flipped through some pretty high grade sampling results, but for those who are new to the lithium space, what do you consider high grade lithium oxide? And what are the typical mining grades? How can they range?
So typically the minimum that you're going to need on one of these dikes in an average value is 1% or greater. So when we see stuff that's showing in an outcrop, so this is not from the soil, this is actually like outcrop. I can jump to that. This is actually one of the few places on the property where it's been outcropped at the surface, where we don't have the overburden covering it. You can see that we've got these, coarse grain ferropegmatites. Coarse grain basically means that it's going to be easier to process. There's less deep chemicals and less deep minerals inside of it. And it's exciting to delineate these structures in 3D and set them up so that we can go and drill them, because potentially they could be quite attractive targets. I think that you know, but a good rule of thumb is anything, you know, an average concentration for that resource in one of these dikes above 1% is really what we're targeting.